Don't rock, freak, don't stop, don't rock, freak, don't stop, don't rock, freak, don't stop. Who put them all in the Wednesday night? Who put them all in the Wednesday night? Who put that ball in the Wednesday night? Super Tyrese Campbell.
That was Shaun and this is the Sheffield United podcast. I'm Matt, and here is the Krampus to my Chris Kringle. It's Jonny.
Good evening.
So it's been a little while since we've done a hod or a pod, hasn't it, Jonny? But things have been decidedly busy. I know you've been up to your eyes in Christmas shopping and trying to be all festive, haven't you? So
cricket.
You what?
And cricket.
Oh, and the cricket, yeah, the cricket's absorbed our time and wasted it, hasn't it? You're absolutely right. We'll not talk about that too much, though, because we're on the brink of another test defeat to Australia. But it's been a little while. Christmas season's got in the way, as is work as usual. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to review the last three matches. We're going to talk the very impressive, good victory over Stoke. We're going to talk about the badly players in our draw with Norwich in the middle of the week. And then we're going to talk about the downright ugly second half performance, in particular away at West Brom. How's that sound to you, Jonny?
Yep, sounds magic.
So let's start with the Stoke match. United were absolutely excellent, weren't we, against Stoke? We took them apart. We were truly outstanding. I thought we were absolutely brilliant in how we took Stoke apart. We took the lead very early. McGuinness scored a header from a corner. Bizarrely, McGuinness could have scored a hat-trick in that match, couldn't he? The chances Stoke kept affording him in the box were just ridiculous. United had a nice suite of chances and just battered Stoke from start to finish. We really did. Sariki scored his first goal for the club with a cracking strike into the top corner from the edge of the box. Bent that in lovely. I was just about to go down and get a sneaky pint, wasn't I? And I got to the top of the cop steps, turned back round, and saw Sariki whip the ball across, and Bamford headed one in from quite a distance out into the bottom corner to make it 3-0 just before half-time. Second half, we just kind of went through the motions, didn't we? Played really well, didn't back off, just looked hungry and pressed high and pressed hard. And we rounded it off with a penalty after some superb play from Andre Brooks, wasn't it, on the edge of the box. 1 and 2 touch stuff and a great little flick through by Campbell for him to get on the end of, and he was brought down by Ash Phillips, who I actually quite like as a footballer. Brooks got brought down, and then Peck smashed a penalty in front of the cop for his third goal in 3 games. You want to add on the performance, Jonny, before I run through the lineup, and then you can do your player ratings?
Yeah, it were best performance of the season by an absolute mile. Season were kick-started, wasn't it, back with the Wednesday game, and then it just seemed to get better from there. Obviously, they beat Portsmouth, massive win away at Leicester, and then the Stoke game was just unreal. I did think Stoke were poor. You didn't recognise them as a Stoke team. You expect them to be good on set pieces, bit big, bullying, but they were nothing, and we actually bullied them. They couldn't cope with McGuinness, and all of a sudden we're a team who's really good at and looked threatening at set pieces, aren't we?
Yeah, we really, really did. I mean, we looked outstanding. Again, that right-hand side of the pitch with Brooks and Sariki was just terrifying, wasn't it? And Mark McGuinness in that first half, well, looked like prime Ahmed Odzic, didn't he, for an half? He looked absolutely superb. So we lined up for the Stoke match with Cooper in goal, McCallum at left back, Tanganga and McGuinness were your 2 centre-halves. We got Sariki at right back. Then Brooks, Riedewald, Peck, Hamer and Bamford. What are you laughing at me for? Why are you laughing at me so much? Because I say I look like prime Ahmed Odzic?
No.
We looked really really good, and we put out a strong side, didn't we? And it things looked quite rosy against Stoke. We looked really really good. Do you want to jump into your player ratings, Johnny?
Yeah, so that game, Cooper, he had very little to do, did he? Probably, again, he's not had much to do in a lot of games. He did make a couple of decent saves, but giving him a 7, he looked quite assuring that game.
Yeah.
McCallum, again, he gets a 7. To be fair, you can't give anybody lower than a 7 that game because of the result and the outstanding team performance. McCallum a 7. I thought Tanganga was very good
Yeah, it was.
on the day. And obviously, he had to change his defensive partner halfway through the game from McGuinness to Bindon.
Yep.
But yeah, Tanganga, I'd give him an 8. I thought it was very good. He led a very relatively inexperienced back line in the end. And yeah, did really well.
He started to play
McGuinness,
a bit like a captain, didn't he, Tanganga?
yeah,
Which is what I like to
yeah,
see.
yeah. McGuinness, I'd give him a 7. Obviously, he scores, but he only plays half the game. He just won everything in their box, and they just couldn't cope with him. And I couldn't understand why they didn't pick him up at all on any set pieces.
Yeah, it was bizarre,
Um,
weren't it? I mean, he just had freedom at Bramall Lane End, didn't he, constantly? And it's not an exaggeration, is it? McGuinness could have scored and probably should have scored a hat-trick. It's not even could, he should. The chances were there to be taken, weren't they?
yeah, Femi Siriki. I've touched on it on last couple of pods how he's changed the whole dynamic of the side, and it looks a really strange bit of decision making not to pick him sooner now in hindsight, doesn't it? But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd give him a 9. I thought it was outstanding against Stoke, wasn't he?
He really
He
was.
typified everything about a Sheffield United performance. Um, Brooks again on that side, he was very good. We've spoke about it at length away from the pod that how much you wouldn't want to play against Sariki and Brooks on that side when they're in form.
Not at all.
So Brooks an 8, Riederwald an 8. He was very good again. He looks that steady influence that we need in there, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Definitely,
well,
and
go on.
it shows what we're going to touch on when we summarise the next 2 games. How important he is to the side.
Oh, yeah,
At the minute.
absolutely. Yeah, and well, the news this week is that he signed a contract extension, isn't it? Until the end of the season with an option of another year, isn't it? After that, which I think is just a brilliant bit of business.
Yeah, which you'd think, if you're looking at him from the outside, because he's not the most mobile, you'd think you're in his early 30s, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
But he is only he's 29.
Yeah, he is.
So
I mean,
he's prime age, isn't he, really, for us?
Yeah, but he's a broad chap, though, isn't he, for a centre mid as well?
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? He's got a lot of power and stuff, so he's obviously not going to have the mobility of a more live and thinner.
He doesn't need it either.
No,
He doesn't need it, no.
No, agreed.
City Peck, give him a strong 8 again. Thought he was very good against Stoke, dominated their midfield along with Riederwald. You didn't recognise the Stoke side at all, did you? Really?
No.
They were on a poor run, but yeah. Hamer obviously got an assist for the corner for the first goal. Had a decent game. Obviously, the shot before the game was O'Hare not playing, but it was just about the squad rotation, and we got a lot of. That was the first game, the Stoke game, when you actually sat back and looked at the bench and thought, "Wow,
Yeah,
we've got some real options."
Yeah, you did.
And trying to shoehorn O'Hare, Hamer, Brooks, all into sides of the difficult decision at the minute, isn't it? You can't go away from the 2 up top.
No.
Um, I actually thought Campbell was our worst player on the day. He
Yeah.
didn't do much. He obviously tried hard against his old club, but it was though maybe trying a little bit too hard, taking the extra touch in the box rather than just getting his shot away early in first half. Whereas last season he would have just shot and probably scored.
Well, I think you're
On
absolutely
instinct.
right. I think he was trying too hard, wasn't he? I know the Stoke fans were giving him a lot of grief again, and it seemed like he was trying to force it. And again with Campbell, he is better when he goes on instinct, isn't he? And has a shot as soon as he can. He's not great when he's got lots of time to think. He's better just going with his gut and doing that. I mean, the thing that saved it for me was that flick through for Brooks for the penalty. It was outstanding.
Yeah,
Really was.
yeah, good. It's good. And that's why he gets a 7 for me because obviously creating that and the fact that he played 90
Yeah,
minutes, which must be one of the first times ever
yeah,
for
agreed.
us. Bamford, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought it was incredible again. And he just sums up what we've been saying for all season, really, about needing a big number 9.
Mm, yeah.
Um, yeah, keep him fit, and he's going to be a real asset into it. And hopefully, he'll sign a new deal as Rydeveld has as well.
Any
Um,
comments on the subs?
Subs wise, obviously, aware Cannon and Burrows came on later in the game. Burrows put a couple of good balls across, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I think the one I'd like to touch on for that game was Bindon.
Yes.
Albert first, I admit, I've given him some stick earlier in the season under Sellers' tenure. Didn't see him getting anywhere near the side, and he probably wouldn't do if Ben Mee was fit. And McGuinness hadn't gone off injured, but I would play Bindon over McGuinness now, and that'll come to. We'll highlight that when we review the next couple of games. But yeah, I thought Bindon had a very good second half in Stoke.
He did. He did.
He made a couple of decent blocks, and yeah, he seemed to win everything.
What do you think to the rumour going round about United possibly paying cash for Bindon in January to free up a loan?
If it frees up the loan that they're after, yeah. Um, uh, you're only, as it's proved in the last couple of games, we're only a couple of injuries away from a crisis there, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
At centre half. And he's the right sort of age to buy, but obviously it all depends on price, doesn't it? I think we
It
were robbed
does.
for McGuinness, weren't we? So
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny. Out of the two of them, if you had a choice on spending 4 million on one of them, you'd spend it on Bindon, wouldn't you, rather than McGuinness?
yeah, 100%, yeah.
And that's not just based on one half of football. You can see he's got a little bit more about him, can't you, in terms of his footballing ability.
Yeah.
You know,
But just going back to sum up the Stoke game, we're obviously we're outstanding. It were very good, and it all looks like it's coming together. But that's the bit where when you start looking up and you're thinking, "Oh, we can get up there this year," but it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? As
well,
we find out.
well, and I think you always say this about United: the hope that kills you, because we went to the Norwich match on Tuesday the 9th after playing on Saturday, and United had got an outbreak of flu, and we'd clocked up some injuries. So as you mentioned, McGuinness had gone off injured on Saturday, so he was unlikely to play. But then there'd been a flu outbreak, and I was obviously coming late from work and got on the tram, sent you a message saying, "Have you seen the team?" And I was tempted to just get off at Red Lion, have a pint, and go back home. When I saw the team that we put out, so we had no choice but to ring in the changes. I think Norwich are a better side than where the position suggests in the table. I did think that. I thought they played some nice football, didn't they, at times against us. I mean, we weren't great, but they did play some nice football in patches. So United had to make a lot of changes, and I'll go through the team before I go through what happened in the match. So we started with Cooper in goal, Burrows at left back, Bindon at centre half, Tanganga at centre back, Sariki at right back. It was midfield which was completely changed. So Chong got a start at right wing. Arblaster started, which it's great to see Ollie Arbolaster back, but I was stunned that he played this side of Christmas. I thought he might just get dropped on a couple of times, if that. He ended up starting. So did Samari in midfield, O'Hare on the left-hand side, and Cannon and Ings up front. Really, the Norwich match is a strange game because it's one of those matches where you look at statistics, and we absolutely battered them, didn't we? I think our XG was nearly 3. We had some good chances against Norwich, and possibly that on another day would have been enough to win it because we'd have taken those chances and would have been done. But it wasn't to be. So for anyone who doesn't know, we drew 1-1. We had the best chances, didn't we, in the first half? Cooper made a couple of good saves in the first half as well. It seemed a bit end to end, didn't it, at times? And I said to you, you could see even the players that were playing didn't look very well, did they? They'd almost like charge about for a bit. It seemed like they were okay, and then they were absolutely gassed and tired. We created some good chances from set pieces. Great ball in for Danny Ings that got lofted at the back post. He should have scored. It was an absolute sitter, wasn't it? And he headed it over the bar when it was easier to score. Norwich keeper made a couple of saves from distance. That was about it really in the first half. Second half, Danny Ings scores from really close range, just taps one in and apologises to the fans as he scores for the chances he'd missed. Burrows put in one of the best balls I've ever seen, didn't he? And Cannon failed to get on the end of that. And we should have been out of sight. And then the comedy moment, Samari, who, well, I'm sure you'll touch on it in your player ratings. I've got a bit of time for Samari, but the performance he put in was capped off by this comedy moment where he just kicked the ball in the wrong direction with his wrong leg. There was no need to score an own goal. It weren't drilled across the box, but it was like Nick Hancock and Rory McGrath video from the 90s where he just side foots it into his own net under no pressure. Absolutely awful. Concede that own goal. I thought we'd done enough to have won it. I thought one goal and that'd have been it, but wasn't to be. And then we were ending up relying on Cooper, didn't we, in the last seconds, really, to make a really good save after Sariki got mugged on the edge of the box. Cooper had a much better game, I thought, and kept us in it at the end, really, because we'd have thrown a point away, wouldn't we? So, a bit of a strange game, the Norwich one. It's really hard to analyse because, like I said, the stats suggest that we absolutely battered him. The eye test kind of looked a bit more like a basketball game, and we just weren't fluid, were we? I forgot to mention Chong put in a fantastic assist for Ings' goal, didn't he? Just superb quality play on that one. Really, really good. But yeah, it was. I said it to Chris off Denblade. The entire performance looked like we got flu. It was hot 1 minute, it was cold 1 minute. Then we were all right, and then we were just really lethargic and all over the place, and we just seemed very disconnected. Have I missed anything there, Jonny? Because I know we're a bit higgledy-piggledy, but it's been a little while, hasn't it, since the Norwich match?
No, yeah, it's one of them games when the team comes out, you're thinking, right, let's not get beat.
Yep.
But as you said, chance-wise, we missed a few good chances. First half, Ings should score that header. However, Norwich had a couple of good chances. They'll be disappointed with those. I said to you during game, I said it's like a game of basketball, this.
Yeah.
That were at first half in particular. It ran to end. Obviously, Sargent went off injured for them, and you're thinking, I don't fancy these scoring now.
No.
And the second half in particular, I never thought they'd score.
No, I didn't.
We'd done the hard bit and got ourselves in front, and you're just thinking game management now. But I've praised Samari in the past, and I've said like it could be answer to shortfall in middle of the park, but it was absolutely horrendous against Norwich. His overall play, everything. Yep. And the goal just summed him up. The headless chicken act that he was putting on. Yeah. It was terrible. I mean, I've never seen out like it.
He looked like he never played football. He genuinely.
Yeah, it was bad. And we finished the game with him and Matos in middle of the park, and I said to you, I said, you're bringing Matos on, it's like going to the park with and taking your little brother along to play with year 10s and you're in year 7.
Well,
So,
I mean, the thing is with Matos, it's easy to go in on him, but because Samari's not technically gifted, Matos had to kind of take that role on, didn't he? Once Arblaster had gone off, and he can't do it. You know, he's a bit of a water carrier, isn't he? And he'll pick ball up and he'll run a few yards and he'll pass it simple, but he don't get that right. I mean, Samari's performance reminded me of Ali Dia. Remember him, who famously got signed, and it turned out he was just a con man. And really, Southampton he played for. He played that 50 odd minutes, and they realised he could never actually play football, and he conned his way into being signed.
yeah, Graham Souness signed him, didn't
Yeah, yeah. It weren't supposed to be George Weir's cousin or something.
he?
Um,
Yeah.
and that was the level of performance, though. Not exaggerating, that Samari put in, wasn't it? He just looked like someone who'd never played a game of 11-a-side football before. So yeah, it was a strange match, the Norwich one, but we got away with the points, so that was the badly. Do you want to go into your player ratings, Johnny?
Yeah, against Norwich, so I gave Cooper an 8. Now,
Got to.
this is because of that last minute save.
Good as a goal.
He obviously, yeah, it was as good as a goal. He got us a point from a tricky game because, like I said, with the team selection before the game, would have probably took a point.
Yeah, you would.
Big save, a couple of good saves first half. His kicking does worry me though, but
Yeah.
gaining us a point with that last minute save, an 8.
Well, did you see the reports again in the week that we've been linked with a move for Sam Tickle, haven't we, from Wigan?
Yeah,
Because
strange one.
yeah, well, the rumour keeps persisting, doesn't it, that Cooper's injured?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sam Tickle, you don't sign for United unless you're going to play.
No,
Because why would you waste a career? Because
agreed.
you're only going to be back up to Cooper unless they are planning to get Cooper some sort of surgery if we're nowhere near come like March, April. But yeah, back to ratings. Well, Burrows a 6. It was okay. Put in a decent ball in second half. Can't really remember much about a lot of the players during the game because like I say, it was scrappy. It was like a game of basketball,
Yeah,
bit end to end, bit scruffy. Tanganga a 6. They looked tired, didn't they? The whole team looked tired and a bit leggy.
yeah, they did.
Binden, I'd give him a 7 just because.
I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I thought it was okay, and it's his first start for a while, and it looked comfortable in there, which we'll touch on for West Brom game, but I don't see why you bring McGuinness back in.
Yeah,
But
there were a couple. Sorry, go on.
no,
Yeah,
go
I
on,
said
go on
there were a
with
couple
that.
of things that Binden did in that match against West Brom, against Norwich. Sorry, where I thought he has got a bit about him, and I can see why the Reading fans raved him. I mean, there were one where the ball was just sailing through the air, and he brought it down with his big toed intake, just plucked it out of the sky. You know, McGuinness would have shanked that straight into Laver stand, or like it us at back at Cop trying to edit. Whereas he brought it down and just played a very nice, simple pass to Sariki, and it was just really nice to see that little bit of composure, wasn't it, on the ball? Yeah, go on.
Sariki, I'm giving him a 5 that night. I thought that was his worst game he'd had for us for a bit.
Yep.
Again, he just looked a bit knackered. He didn't have Brooks on that right hand side. He had Chong, who had an all right game, but he don't get the same cover defensively as Brooks, does he?
No, he don't.
Blaster felt sorry for him. Would have been nowhere near its side if it went for injuries. A 6. He looked just like somebody who's just started pre-season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was finding his way back in. I mean, you could see he's still got quality. He's hardly dropped off a cliff.
Your class is permanent, but he didn't look up to speed with the game, did he? So
no, he didn't. No, not at all. He really didn't. And you could see that with some passes, couldn't you? They started wandering, and he couldn't quite tell where people were going to run to, could he, and stuff.
no. Samari, I'm going to give a generous 3.
That's very generous.
I thought it was awful.
I'd have given him a 1.
Obviously, the own goal was an absolute joke, what we already spoke about. But yeah, his overall play wasn't there. Just disjointed. And it showed a lack of experience, depth in middle of the park. I mean, if you look at injuries, though, there was no Peck, no Riedewald, no Tom Davis. There's Shackleton who could play in there. And you've 4 players there who, so it's a big miss.
Well, I mean, he weren't helped out by Tanganga, were he, with how he performed in the run-up to the goal. I mean, I didn't mention that in the run-through, but he just stood, didn't he, waving his arms about instead of clearing the ball, which would have helped massively.
I mean, when they flashed it across goal, it weren't even going in, were it?
No, it weren't, no.
They were nowhere near it. It was nothing but, and he just got his feet in a tangle. It was like when you do a 3-legged race at school, weren't it? It just... anyway. Chong, I'd give him a 7. Did really well for the goal. Put a nice assist for Danny Ings, but then went off with a knock. I think it was to his ribs, were it?
Yeah.
I think it looks like he'd not played a lot, so he looked tired. Aware, give him a 6. He didn't really do much in the game, did he? Against Norwich. So, a 6, but see, I've seen a lot on social media about people saying about we don't win when Aware don't play, but obviously the Stoke game we went to 1-4-0 when he didn't play. But then when he did play against Norwich, we didn't win. So I know we're a weakened team, but he didn't really affect the game against Norwich. But he has been our best player this season. So
yeah, he has. Yeah, absolutely.
Difficult one. Cannon, I gave him a 6. Did a bit of running about, won a few headers, but didn't affect the game really, did he?
No.
Danny Ings, I'm giving him a 6. He scores, but he also should score at least another 1, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
And if he scores in first half when we're going 1-0 up, I think I might have come out a bit more confident and gone on and kicked on and put game out of Norwich's side. But yeah, subs wise, obviously Brooks came on. He looked okay. Aimer comes on. He had a decent effort, didn't he? Similar to that shot against Portsmouth that went in.
Yep.
Matos just poor. Don't bring much. Obviously, Bamford came on and looked a threat with aerial play, but yeah, it was just it's hard to summarise that game because it was one of them, like I say, with the match stats. We should have won the game with the XG, but I think with the team selection and everything and how scrappy it were, you move on and take a point.
You do, absolutely. You're right, Jonny, and it did feel like 2 points dropped because of where they are in the league, and you thought 1-0 were probably enough to do it, didn't you? And even though our players weren't fully fit, we should have still really had enough to just see that one over the line, shouldn't we?
But they won't be down there come end of the season, will they?
No, they won't. No, they'll stay up. I mean, Portsmouth and Oxford, I think, are in real trouble, aren't they? They really are. So that was the good and the badly, and that takes us on to the ugly. So the ugly performance was Friday night away at West Brom. I didn't realise until you told me how good a record we got against West Brom. I just have flashbacks to horrible days of them having Lee Hughes and Bob Taylor and Richard Sneakers and all that lot that used to batter us constantly back in the 90s. And I also just think back to the time that me and a friend of the pod, James Ford, went and we got absolutely taken apart in the days of Kevin Blackwell. We had Henderson. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, Nukanovic 4-0.
Yeah, who was in net that night?
Mr. Verips.
Mr. Verips.
Yeah.
I think that might be the closest goalkeeping performance we've had to Lee Baxter.
Yeah, not bad.
It was bad. It was bad. So yeah, we went to West Brom. Thought, oh, we'll be back on track here. Players are coming back to fitness. Riedewald was back in, so we rang in the changes. Started with Cooper in goal. Sariki, McGuinness came back. Tanganga, Burrows, Brooks, Riedewald, Samari, Amer, Bamford, and Campbell. First half, we weren't bad, were we, really? We had a couple of decent chances. Campbell had one blocked when he should have really scored. Amer had a decent shot after we mugged someone on the edge of the box, didn't we, and cracked it at the keeper. A bit more power or a bit higher, and I think he would have actually scored that. Samari had a decent chance, which he just blasted into the stand behind the goal as hard as he could. They had a couple of half chances first half as well, didn't they? Mikey Johnston, who I thought had an excellent game, and we've been linked with a few times, had a decent chance for them. So was it Hegebo who ended up scoring in the second half. Second half came around and we were awful, weren't we? Carl and Grant started just bullying us at the back. The first goal's just a real mess. Down that left-hand side, Burrows gets done, cross gets put across, McGuinness doesn't track his man at all, and he gets across and steers one in. And then the second goal is even worse. We just don't track runners at all, do we? Grant kind of bursts through and smashes one past Cooper now. McGuinness laid on the floor appealing for a foul. Some argue that he got clipped. I just think a big centre-back like that just takes Grant down, doesn't he, or shoves him over in that kind of position. You shouldn't be getting done like he did. And it was too late, really, then, wasn't it? There were no way we were coming back from 2 goals down. And the second half performance was that bad that Wilder apologised, didn't he, to the fans for how poor we'd been second half. And he also touched on, I can't remember if this was before the game or after, the fact that we're missing City Peck. And to be honest, with the 2 performances that Samari's putting in a row now, I am inclined to agree with him. We are missing City Peck way more than what I ever thought we would. I mean, it might be different if we had a fully fit Arblaster, but have missed City Peck these last 2 matches, haven't we, in midfield? Have I missed anything there from the West Brom match?
No, summed it up well. Just at half time, we should have been 2-0 up. We were by far better side. Aim was the ones that should score. Bamford had a good chance, didn't he?
Yeah, he does.
They never threatened until right on half time. Didn't think they looked anything decent, but yeah, and at half time you're thinking let's just kick on, but and I never saw it coming. To be fair, them scoring like they did. First goal, obviously, ball goes in Tamer's feet, he gives it away. There's still 2 or 3 transitions before it gets to goal. I mean, Burrows gets easily done down that side. And then I personally blame McGuinness for goal. He's just let that Eggerbo run off him and not followed him. And it's so, or not even shouted Tanganga, he's coming onto you. It was terrible. And it's a good finish, but yeah, it's poor. And then the second goal is just a joke. I mean, I'd have took him off.
Yeah.
I'd have took him off and played with 10 men because he for size on him, he just gets shrugged aside. Whether he gets clipped or not, look at size on him.
Oh yeah,
He should have dealt with ball before he got clipped. He brought the pressure on himself, and and I think a lot of people were quick to jump on how bad we were, and that Wilder needed to sort it, and a lot of people were blaming Wilder, but I think what he came out with at full time was absolutely spot on, and he summarised it well, and actually laid down a marker to him that doesn't happen again, and hopefully we don't see it again.
I think that second half is kind of almost where we are, isn't it? That's never far away. As good as we were in the Leicester match, the Portsmouth match, the Wednesday match, you could argue for obviously the Stoke match were outstanding, as we said. You know, spells of the Norwich game. a second half performance like that against West Brom's always kind of been lurking at it behind us or just in the closet or whatever, and we're capable of turning one in like that. And I think this is why Wilder's desperate to trim the squad into it rather than just add to it, because he wants to get it sorted and get the right character into that dressing room and get it sorted out. Do you want to jump into your player ratings then, Johnny?
To be honest with you, for this game, it's so difficult. I think you can't pick out a decent player,
No.
But I will single out McGuinness as the worst player. He cost us both goals.
Yeah.
So I don't think they even reserved player ratings for that night. That second half was the worst we've played under Wilder this season.
Yeah.
And like I say, and it goes back to what we said at the start of the show, it's the hope that kills you.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that coming. I honestly thought we'd kick on second half and score. If we're going at half time, it might be a different game. But like Wilder said, I think the players were sort of thinking, let's just turn up second half and we'll win. And they raised their levels 10% and we dropped ours 20%. And it was just enough to shift that balance. And they weren't even good, West Brom.
No, I agree.
They're not a good side. Mason's under pressure for that manager. I honestly think if we'd have beat them, they'd have got sacked.
Yeah.
So that's how poor they'd been.
Yeah.
And then for us to turn that in, it's not good. But we've got a big home game on Saturday, haven't we? So it's what you want. Hopefully, atmosphere will be a bit better. Birmingham at home. And yeah, that's what we need at minute. Home games and another 3 points, isn't it?
Well, the Birmingham match is going to be interesting because Birmingham are not travelling well, are they, at all? Their away performances are absolutely appalling. Yet I still see them as one of the stronger sides in the league with the squad they've got. And that night we played them right at the start of the season. I mean, yeah, it were under Sayers and what have you, but they could have beat us about 10 or 11-1 that night. United were atrocious.
We had a weakened side out, didn't we?
We did, but so did they.
Yeah, and that's not a true reflection. See, Birmingham, I actually think they're overrated. There's a lot of hype about them because they've spent this money because they won League One with record points or whatever, but I don't fancy them to be top six.
Really?
I've said it to loads of people. I think your top four, not in any particular order, you're going to have Cov, Middlesbrough, Ipswich and Southampton. I think they're the four teams, and then you're looking at fifth and sixth place, so going to be up for grabs. But it's whether we need to be within 6 points come that 1st of January, so we can strengthen. And like you said, don't take a wrecking ball to it. Probably 3 or 4 out, maybe 5 out, and bring 2 or 3 in. And I think it should be enough to just keep that balance nice, and it's got to be right sort of characters, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the rumour of Rothwell signing, I think it'd be a fantastic signing. I said it to you all last season. I watched him a few times playing for Leeds, and he came on and changed games. Yeah. So hopefully that is a true signing. But we shall see.
Well, like you say, Rothwell's got a lot of pedigree and he's a great footballer. I mean, Wilder did make a comment about us being all right up top. I'd still maybe like a centre forward. I mean, you've got Ings, Cannon, Bamford, Campbell, but no one's really been that consistent yet, have they?
It's who you bring in. I mean, short of spending big money, which we don't want to do, I honestly think if Cannon hadn't started firing and put in some more effort, I think he'd have been going out, and then we'd have been bringing somebody in maybe for a bit of money in January. But if you look at the 4 names we've got up top on paper, on paper, you're struggling to decide who to pick up as your front 2 every week, aren't you?
You are. I mean, the 2 I've mentioned to you a few times, but obviously he's always injured and he's a lot of money. One would be Josh Sargent, but obviously I think he's out of United's price range, isn't he, really? And the other one, I know you're not as keen. I quite like Ivanovic at Millwall. But again, wanting quite a bit of money for him, aren't they?
He doesn't improve our team, I don't think.
I don't know. I think he'd be something different to what we've got. But then again, if Bamford stays fit, to be honest, you probably pick Bamford over him, don't you? So that's kind of where we are. So
Yeah, I think
yeah, go on.
I think Chowdhury will be one that they'll sign in January as well. So
Permanently, or do you
we
think they'll
need
loan
the
him?
competition at right because that is the only position we don't have two players for, isn't it? Really, right back. Well, and
Yeah.
goalkeeper. You can't class Adam Davis as a goalkeeper anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. No, well, I think we're at the point where it needs to be Luke Faxon, doesn't it, over Adam Davis now, as backup choice. Yeah, you're right on right back that we are short in that position. Chowdhury did an okay job, but you're not signing Chowdhury to compete with Sariki as a backup for Sariki and to be that ball winner in
Yeah,
midfield.
Chowdhury plays in midfield. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd like. I'd prefer to see if we were to go down that route. Would you? Are you thinking permanent or loan?
I can't see why not permanent. I think Leicester's in a bit of trouble financially, aren't they? Got a massive wage bill.
Yeah,
You know, that thing where he liked Tom Cannon's Instagram post when he scored against Leicester. So
yeah. Bit of an own goal that one, weren't it, from Chowdhury? But yeah, what are you thinking then for Saturday? You think we beat Birmingham?
to be fair, I fancy us at home. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
2-0 or 2-1. I don't think Robinson gets in team anymore, does it? So
No, well, he'll get a bit of stick, won't he, for United fans?
probably suspended still. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's been sent off about 73 times, hasn't he, already in 12 games?
Yeah, he'll get a good ovation, which probably deserved, I suppose.
He'll get a mixed reception, I think, Robinson. He divided opinion.
He summed up what United were about, though, didn't he? I think that's the only reason why. And it shows that we're an easy fan base to please when he used to slow down to make sure he took the man as well.
Yeah.
The crowd loved it.
Yeah,
So he'd get the ball, but he'd make sure he slowed up so he could get the man as well. And crowd were that's why people liked him in Blood and Thunder. But yeah, what score are you going for?
Birmingham, I think we'll win either 2 or 3-0. I think we'll be quite comfortable. Don't know why. I've just got a feeling. I think United will be looking to respond after how poor we were away at West Brom, and I think Birmingham don't travel well. I think that could be the perfect mix for us. I think they'll definitely play better than how I'll feel after going out Friday night. So that'll be something. And then obviously from there we're on to Wrexham, aren't we? Away on Boxing Day.
Yeah, tricky game. You got Birmingham at home, Wrexham away, Stoke away, and then Leicester at home, isn't it? In a 10-day period, 12-day period, and you're thinking minimum 7 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we literally have to take each game as it comes. I mean, I know a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, Oxford lost. That's done us a favour. Portsmouth's lost." I'm like, we shouldn't be looking below. We should be looking. We're wanting teams like Oxford and Portsmouth to win games. Even Wednesday to pick up a few points, where they're taking points off teams who are above us. So if we're wanting to climb that table, but we're a long way off, and I think the last two games have been a little bit of a reality check, haven't they? That you're only ever a couple of injuries away from that sort of performance. But yeah, friend of the pod, Mr. Starbuck, texted me this morning and said, because I've made no secret that my two favourite sport teams are obviously United and then England cricket.
Yep.
He says I need to be finding a new sport to watch because neither are filling us with joy this last couple of weeks, are they? So
no, and he's absolutely right there. And speaking of Mr. Starbuck, I think it's only fair to say congratulations to him and Chloe on the birth of little Maisie Ann Starbuck, another future Blade to join the ranks. So congratulations both there. Brilliant news. Absolutely brilliant news. So, really, Jonny, there's not much else to say, is there, at the minute? You know, the things are kind of plodding along. We've got, I'm doing a bit of writing for Chris in Den Blades. He's asked me to do a bit of guest writing in one of their articles, which is really nice. So we'll do that. So look out for that over the coming days. I think we're not going to pod again, are we now, till after Christmas, given family commitments and work and bits and bobs. So we'll just take this opportunity to thank anyone that's had a listen and give us a bit of feedback, and just to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And we'll probably speak to you all again before New Year, won't we, Jonny?
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great Christmas, everyone, and hopefully it's some more positive results.
So now I'll hand us over to Shaun to play us out. Up the Blades.
Up the Blades.
Open the ball in the Wednesday net. Open the ball in the Wednesday net. Open that ball in the Wednesday net. Super Tyrese Campbell.